Hey, this is Kyle Crawford from Strong Dads. Strong Dads wants to thank Crimer Beer House for sponsoring today's Strong Dads podcast. The beer house was started in 1982 by the Crimer family. Since that time, they have become a Cincinnati favorite. If you're looking for an incredible meal and an incredible setting, you have to try Crimer's Beer House down on Route 128 in Cleves, Ohio. What's going on, guys? How we doing today?
I hope you're better than I am.
Oh, I'm feeling really good today. You don't have the Rona, do you?
I got a cold, but
Okay.
in fact, I had the Rona test, and I passed with flying colors.
Oh, good for you.
It was a positive. Well, it was a negative test, and that's a positive thing,
That's
right?
good. Yeah. Is that the one where they stick it like up in your brain?
Oh yeah, man, that sucker went all the way down. I think it came out the other end, but
well, that's good.
You know,
that's
they
good.
come out with the whole hazmat suit.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
you feel like, good Lord, I just had a runny nose, buddy. You don't. This guy's coming out, and I'm like, this is serious business here.
Well, anyways, that's not what we're talking about. We're done talking about the Rona. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great week, and thanks for joining back in with us doing another show here with Merle. Merle, you doing all right besides the little congestion you got there?
Oh yeah, not really. You know.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, just spent the night at my dad's last night. You know, it's one of those things. He's struggling, getting older, and his health is not good. So me and my siblings are just taking time and spending time with him and just trying to help out. And obviously, whenever you spend time over there, you don't sleep. But yeah, so it's part of what we're doing right now. Yeah. And as soon as probably we're done with this, I'm going to go find a floor to crash on or something. And I kind of feel like you normally do. Yeah. Normally you come in and you say, I just got off work, you know, whatever, and
up
you
all
haven't
night,
slept.
Sleeping on a
so,
recliner.
You know, I have some sympathy now for you.
Thank
And
you.
not for long. I won't keep
you.
it. But
I feel better now. I feel like we've connected a whole new level now. We've done the sleep deprivation because of work and no sleep.
Yeah. I might be delusional halfway through this show, but hey. That's fine. Let's roll.
All right, yeah. Anyways, I think today will be kind of an interesting show. We just kind of preparing for this, just brainstorming on how we wanted to kind of attack this show. We're going to talk a little bit about the story in the Bible from First Samuel, talking about the David versus Goliath story, and when we talked about it, hopefully. Kind of plugging that into making it applicable to today and things going on in today's world and kind of where we hopefully as strong dads fit into that story and kind of and get some good takeaways in the sense of how should we be reacting to what's going on in this world and kind of plugging ourselves into that story. So I think it'll be a good story, a good show for us.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys are excited about kind of diving into David versus Goliath.
Yeah. Well, let's give a little bit of background here too. That as after the show was kind of put together and we kind of wrote our ideas, then we watched this thing. What was it called the presidential debate, right? And so we watched that show. And we came in, our heads were all twisted up this morning as we tried to figure out, okay, what did we just watch?
Yeah.
And somehow we're going to try to intertwine some of what we watched into what we are to do as strong dads in this very uncertain time, and drawing kind of from the story of David and Goliath, which at that point in time, it was a very uncertain time. And we're going to kind of unfold some of that story. And after, we watched that debate last night, it was kind of like, all of the chest beating of a big battle that's getting ready to take place. So what should our place be in this? And really, I would be lying if I told you I know 100% what is the right thing here, because that was just confusing, the whole thing.
Yeah, it was.
So, whenever your back's against the wall or you're feeling threatened, it is interesting to see how you respond to that.
Yeah.
And I learned a long time ago, just from, we've talked about cycling and running and stuff. If you're a runner or you're a cyclist, one thing you're always going to deal with. You're going to deal with dogs, right? Have you ever been bitten by a dog when you were out running?
No, but we've gotten chased down by quite a few. When I was in high school running cross country, exactly what you were saying.
Oh, yeah.
We knew all the houses that had the dogs.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's part of what you do. And over the years, I've done this for so many years. I shouldn't even say this. I've never really been truly bit. Okay, really, really, really close. I've been chased a lot of times. Okay, but I've kind of developed a strategy to help me know what to do in that situation, because you're coming into this uncertain battle, right?
Yeah.
Like what's going to happen, and you're running or you're on your bike or whatever. And when I see a dog that's kind of close to the road or approaching the road, my first approach is I call out just kind of in a friendly, hey bud, hey, how you doing? And more of kind of that acceptance voice.
Yeah.
And you can watch a dog. If a dog, his eyes kind of go up and his tail wags, you're like, not a threat. I'm good. I'm good. And I'm just telling you, those dogs, I've never been chased by that dog. Okay. Yep. But if I address him with that, hey buddy, hey, how you doing? That light tone, and his hair stands up and his tail goes down, and he gives you that, no, I'm not your buddy look.
It's go time.
Then it's go time. And so I go to my next mode, which is kind of my Goliath mode.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm like, okay, buddy, game on. And I just start yelling and screaming and just look as big as I can to that dog and try to basically, out scare them. And that works a lot of the time. But sometimes they're like, yeah, this is fun. And that's where you get into that chase. Yeah. Which when I'm on the bike, I'm like, that's okay.
See, it's not really even fair though, because you have wheels. Like if you're running.
Right.
Like,
well,
it's 4 versus 2 legs, and usually the 4 legs wins. You actually have wheels though. That's
well, I'm going to be real honest with you. If on my runs, if I know of that kind of dog that's going to be on my route, I always have something in my hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would just probably change routes. I'm a big sissy.
Yeah. No, I'd have a couple rocks. I'd pick up a stick. Because if I know that that's what's coming, then I'm going to win. That would be at least my thought.
That's funny.
So anyway, it is funny how we try to react and how we try to get through that battle. What mode do we go to? Do we run and scream and cry, or do we try to act like Goliath and get big and tough? What do we do? So anyway, that we're going to go down some of that road today about what we should do as we see what could be a crazy time of conflict that we already see, but tends to be growing in this country right now. We better thank some people.
Yeah, so we'll definitely keep getting into the show. But before we do that, definitely today's Strong Dads podcast, we'd love to thank the Crimers Beer House for coming alongside of us. The beer house was started in 1982 by the Crimer family, and since that time, they've definitely become a Cincinnati favorite. So if you're looking for an incredible meal in an incredible setting, go down there on Route 128 and check out the Crimers Beer House.
All right, sounds great.
I think I've said that a couple of times. I memorized that.
You've got it. You don't even have to look, man. You're good. You're good. Well, I'd like to thank the Mansfield Insurance Agency located in Bright, Indiana, for sponsoring today's Strong Dads podcast. Established in 1981, the Mansfield Insurance Agency has been dedicated to the individuals and businesses in Bright, Indiana, but also serving clients throughout Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. So for all your insurance needs, contact Mansfield Insurance Agency. All right, so let's give a little bit of background on the David and Goliath, the ultimate battle that took place, but kind of some of the lead up too, because the lead up's really important because it also really ties in closely with where we are as a country right now. All right. So it's in 1 Samuel 17.
Yep.
Go ahead. No, you dig in.
Yeah. So the David and Goliath story, again, it's a very popular Bible story that gets told a lot of times in at Sunday school for kids. So the David and Goliath story started with the Philistines and Israelites constantly having battle. And prior to that, if you read through the Old Testament, with the Israelites continually, going against what God wanted, they continually to try to do their own thing and go against what God really wanted for them. And the Philistines were this group, and they constantly they had false idols, they had false gods that they tried to worship, and they were into material things. And so when this battle gets ready to start, the Philistines versus the Israelites, every day, like twice a day, I think, they would get up and they would in the morning and the evening, they would have this constant battle. And one of the leaders of the Philistines was this guy, Goliath. And they used biblical measurements back then, but he was somewhere in the ballpark like 8 feet. He was this massive dude, right? And the Israelites, were constantly looking for someone to lead them. And at the time, they had kind of, essentially just said, Saul, you're our leader. He kind of was the bee's knees at the time, right? And so as the story continues on, the battles are going on, and Goliath is standing up every day like, who's going to try and take me down? Like,
right.
You guys can't touch me. Like, I'm this BA, right? I'm the good, best thing going on right now. And constantly, the Israelites are trying to find somebody. And naturally, they're scared of this guy. Like, he's just a massive dude. And the crazy thing is David kind of comes into the story. He wasn't really involved in the actual battle, in the actual the fighting. He was actually asked to bring food to his 5 brothers that were involved in the battle. So David comes up and he hears Goliath do his roar, like his like, who's going to take on me today? At the time, David was essentially a boy and was not really quote unquote fit to fight in what at the time what they would deem worthy to fight. And David felt convicted, and he's like, I got this. And he knew that because he was a man of faith and a man that knew who God was, and he entrusted God, and he's like, I'll take him on. I got him.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that they tried to suit him up with armor, and
he tried to wear Saul's armor, and this isn't working, buddy.
It's not working, and he decided he wasn't going to do that. And he grabbed 5 smooth stones and his sling, and he went to battle up against Goliath, and he was laughed at, and he was mocked and made fun of because of his size and his what was his lack of preparation for this fight. And he took down this massive giant Goliath, and obviously the story continues on, and there's so many good things just from that little tidbit of the actual story that I think we could really again apply to what's going on today.
Yeah, I think there's some really cool things that we just maybe can unpack a little bit out of that. The idea that the Israelites they knew God's word, but they were so attracted to the physical life, the worldly life that the Philistines lived. And the idea that they wanted more of what the Philistines had.
Yeah.
They wanted more of that.
Yeah.
They wanted the power and the money. It just was attractive.
Yeah.
Right? And it gave them confidence. And so, and they're all crying out, we need what they have.
Yeah.
And so we know that in Scripture, God gives us what we want, even sometimes if He knows, all right, dude, this isn't the best thing for you, but you keep asking, I'm going to let you have what you want.
Sure.
Right? It's kind of like the little kid. You keep wanting to put your hand on that stove. I've told you 2 times, 3 times, 4 times not to put your hand on that stove. Right. But if you want to do it, you go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And so, that's important because in our country right now, we've seen a huge movement away from God's way.
Yeah.
Because it's attractive. We've talked about that on so many shows. It's attractive, man. It's whether it's money or power or strength, especially for us as strong dads, man, it prestige is all these things that just look attractive. Okay. And so I think it's real important that we don't look at anybody here with judgment. Like, well, why would they do that? It's pretty much of all of our nature that we would do that. So anyway, like you said, then all of a sudden when the rubber meets the road, like when Goliath is saying, okay, who's going to fight me? All these guys, the great warriors within the Israelites are going, not me, not me, man. Yeah. Okay, they're overwhelmed. And it's just really interesting how David comes to know that he could handle Goliath.
Yeah.
Now, David was just this shepherd boy.
Yeah.
But he had taken on wild animals before.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, he had taken on wild animals, all right, and lions and bears, right? and he had taken them on, and so that let him, like, here he was out in the middle of the field.
Oh yeah.
There's all these sheep he's got to protect, and he's like, oh man. And he was able to take them on because he had developed this relationship with God. God, help me protect what I need to protect.
Yeah.
Protect me. And so he had a actually proven record in his mind that, hey, I've tested God and I've won.
Yeah.
So I think that's important for us to realize. It's in your battles of life that you start to realize, hey, when I give it to God, I've seen that God has pulled through.
Yeah.
So everybody doubted David.
Oh yeah.
But David was like, I'm taking on crazier than this guy.
Yeah.
All right. So that's important for us as strong dads. Wait a minute. We've got to get grounded.
Yeah.
We've got to get grounded in what God has done for us.
Yeah.
To not neglect that. To understand what how he has protected and provided. How God has protected and provided. And then when we go into the battle, we have to give all the glory to God.
Yeah.
So David goes into that battle after he sinks the rock right into Goliath's head, and everybody's shocked.
Yeah.
Is Goliath shocked? Or I'm sorry. Yeah, he's
well,
shocked.
He was shocked.
He's like dead shocked. Yeah, is David shocked? David's not shocked at all.
Yeah.
Right? And he gives all the glory to who?
Yeah, he gives it all to God.
He gives it all to God.
Yeah.
Not, see, I told you I was bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't take it upon himself. He gives it to God. And I man, what a humbling thing to do. And of course, this sets the stage for David to be one of the greatest of all time.
Right.
In terms of being a leader and everything. So when we look at this, and here we just watched this debate, okay? And we watched the David and Goliath. We watched the chest beating on both sides, right? I mean, and the interrupting and all of this craziness. And it was like, okay, wait, where am I in that battle? Where am I as a strong dad? Where do I go in that battle?
Yeah.
So let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so what's my position, and what does this whole story about David, how does that connect to what I should do as a strong dad?
Right. Well, and I think part of it's, from the beginning, if we look at this David versus Goliath story and we try and put it into today's, what's going on today, I think it's important, just like we were talking when you're coming up to a dog, you have a plan in mind.
Yeah.
You have a plan of action that you're going to try and follow. And I think having strategy, having a plan going in this, because truly you have to figure out who you are in the David and Goliath story. Are you the guy who's going to put your chest out and say, like, you're going to be the quote unquote bully. You're going to try and push over whatever's in your way. You're going to try and stand up and you're going to fight, like, bring it on, whatever you got. And that self-centeredness, that I don't need anybody else to help me fix my problems, fix what's going on right now. Are you going to be the Saul that's going to be like, I can't, people think I'm a leader. From the outside I look like a leader, but the inside I'm just this big sissy. And I'm not going to try and fight. Are you going to be the David that you maybe not fully equipped with what the world would say you need to have in order to fight this battle that's currently going on in our world right now? But because of God and because of who God is and what He can do for you, you have an unbreakable strength that can't be broken, and you're going to go into battle and maybe not even the battles that you have even caused. Like maybe there's someone else's battle, and because what we as a strong dad, as a strong man, you feel convicted to step in there and fight those battles with maybe not be the face of that battle, but fight alongside of somebody. Like if someone else is dealing with something that's they're getting beat down, you as a strong man, as a strong dad, can step in there and help and fight some of those battles with people. So I think before we even get into what our world is currently facing, I think it's important to plug yourself into one of those characters and find out where you have traditionally fit in. So are you a David? Are you a Saul? Are you a Goliath? Are you the rest of the Israelites that are just sitting back and scared? Like, so to try and plug yourself into kind of where you kind of fit at. And obviously, it's easier said than done. Like, I'll be the David. I'll step in there. And then again, the rubber meets the road. The Goliath of the world are calling you out. Like, what are you going to do? And I think that's when we can kind of start doing that evaluation process.
Yeah. Well, man, that's just a great thing that is very confusing to all of us because when you handle battles of life, because we are human, we cannot not think in human terms.
Yep.
And so in human terms, we want to think logically. We want to think probabilities. Like, well, what's the probable chance of me actually winning this? All right. And if that were the case, David would have never walked into this. He would have never even had the courage to do this. He would have done what the other Israelites were doing and been like, no, we need somebody else to step up. I can't do that. And so this is a conflict in a lot of our minds about giving way to human logic and probability thinking and saying, you know what, I will trust in God. I think the other cool thing about this is that a lot of people think that when you trust in God, you can be this pacifist. Yeah. You can say, well, I'm just going to fold my arms and go sit in the corner and just however
God
it plays
will take care of it.
God will take care of it. Yeah. That's not what David did at all. Like you said, he saw a cause that was worth fighting for. He saw the oppression. He saw the threat. And he's like, well, that's not right. Yeah. And at that point he said, well, and he even went and got ammunition, right? Yeah. So he actually goes and he gets his rocks. Yeah. Right? And these rocks are the things that they are not as important as the trust that he has that those rocks will be used right. Yeah. And I think that's really super important for us at this point where we are in this battle right now of not knowing how to fight it. How to get God in our country. The way we do that first is I think it's so important to take a deep breath and rest in the battles that you've won in the past and how you've done that, like David did with the previous fights he'd been in with the bears and the lions. Yeah. Oh, wait, how did I get through those times? Yeah. Don't lose memory of that. How did you get where you are today? And then understanding where you have to give credit to. Yeah. And I think that's a real conflict right now. Yeah. I mean, if I'm great because I am, I'm the wrong God here. Yeah. Okay. And I think that we have to be very careful with our own personal chest beating. And we have to make sure, no, I'm in a great position because God provided that opportunity and allowed me to be there. Right. God blessed me with that. And so when we start to think that way, I think we, at the end of the game, at the end of the day, at the end of time, no matter whether we won or lost on that battlefield on this earth, we will still be in God's hands, because we didn't reject him. Right. We stayed faithful to him. So how about in this? Well, where do I go with the current state that we find ourselves in our country? Where do I go in terms of saying, okay, God, well, I'm supposed to follow and believe in you. What's that really look like? Right. And I think that this leads us to a whole nother part of Scripture where we are taught in Matthew, the whole do not worry. The do not worry. You remember what that one is?
Yeah. This is so good because, just like you were talking about, although right now our world has a lot of crap going on, but you personally in your own home might have personal battles that you're trying to fight. And I think, just what you're talking about here in Matthew, where it says, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, about your body or what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. Do not sow or reap the store away in the barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not more valuable than they are? Man, that is so good. Golly, God, he will take care of us. He has done it time and time again. He will always do it. He takes care of the birds. Like, how much more valuable are we than them? And man, what a great place to start when it comes to these battles. Again, if you look at David, he knew that God was going to take care of him. He knew time and time again, God takes care of the animals and the birds and make sure that they have the food that they need. Man, he's going to take care of me.
Yeah.
And again, that might not to say again, not because David was not passive. Even though he knew that God was going to take care of him, he still knew as a man, as at the time as a boy, but he truly was a man. He still needed to put forth effort. He still needed to fight. Like, again, what you were saying, that we can't just continually say, well, God will take care of it and sit back. God takes care of the birds, he'll take care of me. Well, that is true, but I also think God is calling us to actually be in the grind, fight for what you believe in, fight for the cause that is in hand. We were talking with the David and Goliath story, like, it is kind of confusing, especially when you look at today, like, where do we fit in? Like, what character, what person am I? It is a little confusing because in our current state, like, you look at different people, different political figures right now, and it's confusing. It's like, well, he's acting like that. I really don't like that, right? But again, just going back to that principle that through everything, God is going to take care of us.
Right. Well, so an important takeaway that I think is as you work through that, and we're trying to work through the confusion of what our place is and what character we should be behind, especially during this election time and that sort of thing, is the idea of the Israelites and the Philistines were fighting because, one, there was a land dispute, but two, the Israelites did not want to be taken over by ungodly people.
Yeah.
All right. They felt the value, but they kept slipping in that. And because there was an attraction to the worldly ways. And so in our own country, I think first and foremost, as strong dads, we have to fight for the presence of God.
Yeah.
We do it, and that's where it gets a little confusing, okay? But first and foremost, we have to fight for the presence of God in this country. And the best place for you to start with that is in your home. The best place. So for you to throw your arms up with confusion as to what's going on in the country and not live a godly life in your own home, you're looking in the wrong place. Your first battle is in your home. We need to get into that. We need to make sure that we're not being led astray by worshiping false idols in our own home.
Yeah.
Work, busyness, money, sex, all of these things that come into play. All of these, the feel-good gods, right? These they make me feel good, so that's why I'm going to do them, because that's kind of what happened with the Israelites as they began to slip. And this was a wake-up time for the Israelite culture. We are at a wake-up time in our country. Are we going to wake up and understand the almighty power of God, or are we going to fall like a bunch of crushed men? And so no matter how big you are, you're not bigger than God. We will fall to the power of God. And I don't know what that looks like, but I know it is very important for us as strong dads to make sure we're grounded in how we live our life in a godly view. Okay. And gosh, I just think it's really cool when you can rest and say, I don't know what all this looks like, but I'm going to fight to protect God's presence in my home, in my life.
Merle, as you were talking, I was just something that kind of came to me. For you guys out there, like, yes, you put your faith and your trust in God, just like David did. And then after David knocked down Goliath, can you imagine the strength and the confidence that the Israelites had? Like, you as a dad, if you are on the front lines fighting for your family, fighting for whatever battles are going on right now, and you put all your trust and you give all the glory back to God, when you conquer and you have successes, man, your family's going to feel so empowered. And I think that's a great takeaway from this show. Like, if you guys are in the midst of something going on in your life, and you're in the midst of a battle, if you are viewing our country in its current battle that we're going on, if you take a step back, evaluate. We talk all the time about dealing with stuff just in your home. fight the battles that are going on in your home. Don't worry about outside entities right now. Let's get everything in order in our own home. But if you take that stance that I'm entrusting God, but I'm also going to be I'm in the fight, I'm in it, man, what happens, I think, to the family, it empowers them, it lifts them up, it brings them to a new level. The Israelites, I know, had to be different after watching David take down this massive giant, like, just because nobody else had stepped up and done it to that point.
Especially when David rose into leadership positions and continued to talk the importance of God. There's only one true God, and we are going to honor that one true God. And I think as you talk through that, I'm thinking the absolute importance of us telling our kids, no matter what, there's only one true God. Yeah. And that's how we, all good things come through him. That's how we are blessed, through that one true God, not through what we think we have done, our own chest beating. So if we're going to beat our chest, we beat it in honor of God.
Yeah. That's when you had said that a long time ago, and I don't even know who said it, but someone, I was listening to whatever it was, maybe a sermon, a podcast, but someone had made reference to, you always hear people say you need to put God first in your life, which is absolutely, there's definitely truth to that. But his point was making that in any circumstance, if there's a one, there has to be a second place and a third place. Well, sometimes a second and third place can actually overtake that first place. Yeah. So if you constantly live your life, I'm going to put God first. His point was you put God as the only in your life, and everything else will follow suit. And again, that might be kind of cliche to say, but just that idea that if we constantly say, well, when I'm in this circumstance, I'm going to put God first, and then something else comes up, and then another small little battle happens, and then you're like, well, I'll figure that out. I'll deal with it myself. Just goes to the idea that God should be our only, and then everything else follows suit.
Yeah. Okay, so challenging show in the sense of where we are in our country, and everybody recognizes we are in a time of great conflict. We don't know how all of this ends in real time, but we do trust that God will protect those who continue to hold him up. Yeah. And we do trust that will be the case. And so at that point, the thing that we ultimately are challenged for you is, are you doing what it takes to honor God in your life? Are you fighting for the way of God? Are you fighting for the way of God? And so fighting for the way of God does not mean you give yourself credit. It means that you continue to go back. I'm in this fight because I know that this is God's way. Yeah. This is from God's word. And so the challenge here is for you to evaluate, am I living for God? Am I ready to fight for God? Am I ready to fight for that in my own home? If you say you're ready to fight for God and you're not even living that way in your own home, your kids have never heard you talk about God, your wife doesn't see you honor God, or you even attend church or have any affiliation with that, you need to look in the mirror. Because, then at that point, you are doing the Goliath thing. Yeah. You're doing the Goliath thing. You're acting all big and bad, but you're not putting it in God's hands. Yeah. So that is your challenge. Always something that we need to work on here. I find myself slipping all the time into bigger is better. And, that's how we're wired. That's our natural wiring. But God knows that. Yep. That's why we have to rely on him and go back to thinking about him.
For sure. Yeah. Just kind of in closing all this up, we appreciate all you guys out there. We are really glad you guys keep tuning in. Hopefully you're getting good takeaways from our shows. We're learning right alongside you guys as we try and spew stuff out on these mics. I'm learning from Merle. I hope he learns a little something from me.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a constant learn. Yeah.
But, yeah, we definitely do appreciate you guys out there. Keep listening. Keep tuning in. We again, like to thank Crimer's Beer House and Mansfield Insurance Agency for coming alongside of us. We really do appreciate you guys for believing in what we believe in. And, again, if you guys have any questions, if you guys have recommendations, you guys want to hear us dive into a different topic, we'd love to hear from you guys. You can reach Merle at Hutch at rocksolidfamilies.org, or you can call here at Rock Solid Families. Merle and Linda would love to talk to you guys to do some coaching. If you're dealing with stuff in your marriage, your family, they'd love to talk to you. 812-576-7625. Give them a call. They'd love to chat with you guys. I think, again, thanks so much just for you guys out there, and I think we're good.
Hey, well, I do want to put a little plug in because we have some really cool shows coming up in November. They'll be airing in November, but we're putting those together right now because the shows that we're going to be talking about are some of the social issues that we have found ourselves being presented with on a regular basis, and you almost feel guilty if you don't think a certain way on them. And it's everything from gay, just the gay lifestyle, how do I spend my time and my money, just lots of social issues. And so the question is what's God's way on all these issues, versus what the world might be telling us, what's God's word say about it, so that we can help get some grounding. And so we're going to have a special guest. We're going to have a preacher man in here.
He's going to be our biblical reference.
That's right. We're going to have Greg Edens in, and he's going to be helping us out with those topics. So he can help guide us and direct us in terms of what do I do when my kid comes home from school and says, now I have, I'm a girl and I have a boy going into my restroom to go to the bathroom because he says he's a girl. What do I do with that as a strong dad? So anyway, got to stay tuned. We'll be announcing those as they come in here. They're going to be in November, but that'll be some good stuff.
For sure. We appreciate you guys again. Thanks so much. Go out there and be some strong dads.
Hey, this is Merle Hutchinson from Strong Dads. Strong Dads wants to thank Mansfield Insurance Agency in Bright, Indiana for sponsoring today's Strong Dads podcast. Established in 1981, the Mansfield Insurance Agency has been dedicated to the individuals and businesses in Bright, Indiana, serving clients throughout Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky.